Well, Jaron Boots Ennis just stopped the Mantis Stanionis to become the unified welterweight champion. I have to say I was very shocked. Going to this fight, I really had this a 50-50 fight. Stanionis seemed like a tough, hungry guy who really wanted this. Of course, Boots Ennis had a lot of holes in his game in the past, still does as we saw in this fight. I know Boots is good, but man, he really toyed with him. He won all 6 rounds, okay? He quit on a stool. Stanionis did his corner, called it off. But through those 6 rounds, I had Boots winning 6-0. I mean, his counter punching was amazing. His timing was there. But Stanionis really disappointed me. I expected him to be tough, walk him down, put a lot more pressure on him, try to smother him, have a lot more punching output, and that just wasn't the case. Stanionis' timing was very, very bad. He was just relying on counter punches, some counter punching big shots, right? Just one shot off a counter punch. Really wasn't good, really wasn't working, and, Boots just started to tee off. Boots also looked like he was just being comfortable, having fun with it, dancing around, sticking his tongue out. I mean, a lot of holes in his game, which we'll talk about later on in this video about how he's not unbeatable at 147, but that performance was very, very impressive. So really going to this fight, I knew Boots was, of course, a very talented boxer, but still very beatable at 147. He really didn't show too much. His resume was not that good as well. Showed, of course, a lot of holes in his game, leaving some body punches open, leaving his hands down a lot, very open to a counter. And like I said, his resume just was not there. But if we look at the 147-pound division, Stanionis was, of course, a very big name, of course, being a former champion himself. But we look at Brian Norman Jr., who I think Boots could probably beat him. But here's the thing with Boots as well. He's really a weight bully. I saw a picture of him on Wednesday. He was absolutely drained. And then in that ring, Stanionis just looked so small compared to Boots Ennis. I mean, I don't think we're going to see Boots really at 147 for much longer anyway. I mean, he's just a really big fighter for 147. Then WBC, we have Mario Barrios, where Barrios is a very tough fighter, but he doesn't have the skill to beat a guy like Boots. Just what an impressive fight. He really surprised me, I have to admit. But there's still a lot of holes in his game yeah, he might be good at 147. Might do some damage at 147 and be undisputed. But how long will he stay at 147? I'm not sure. I don't see him staying at 147 healthy and really without affecting his body much for no longer than a year at 147. If he was to go up to 154, is his power there? I mean, power to maybe get respect from his opponents, but, none of that one-punch power. Fight a tough guy like Ortiz, I think Virgil Ortiz could definitely beat him. Of course, Terrence Crawford as well. Terrence Crawford would have a fun time counter-punching a guy like Boots Ennis, who is just very open for those counter-punches, like I mentioned. But let's focus on the actual fight. Those first 3 rounds, you can just tell he was going to win. He looked comfortable. He was doing everything right. He was teeing off, counter-punching. The timing was there. He just looked comfortable. It was his night. It showed that there was levels above. Okay, now, how far could he go? We already talked about that. Let's not talk too much about the future. I think that Ortiz could beat him. Crawford could beat him. But right now, 147, I think that, the 147-pound division is pretty weak right now. And I think that he could probably go undisputed at 147. But how long could he stay there like I'm talking about? I don't know. I don't think he's going to stay there longer than a year. If he's going to pull off 2 fights for the titles, of course, against Norman and Barrios, I'm sure you beat them right now. But like I said, is he going to keep making 147? He was a weight bully in there. That size difference is huge. I saw him Wednesday. He looked absolutely drained already, but he's a good fighter. His counter-punching is there, a skilled fighter. But he needs a test. He needs a test. And listen, that was a B-level champion that we saw in Stanionis. Fought like a C-level fighter. All right, I want to see him fight a really tough fighter who's going to bring it, who's really going to bring it, who needs to have good punching output. That punching output by Stanionis was just terrible, not good. You're not going to win the fights doing that, alrighty? Throwing one big counter punch every 15 seconds. That's not going to do it, alrighty? Let's see how Boots does against a very skilled fighter, a very tough, powerful fighter. I thought we were going to see that in Stanionis, but we didn't. Stanionis, too, very inactive, had like 3 fights in 5 years. That's no good, okay? But let me know down in the comments what you thought of the fight. Let me know what you think of Boots Ennis. Who should he fight next? How far could he go? Could he become undisputed at 147? Could he beat guys at 154? Could he beat guys like Ortiz and Crawford? I don't think he beats either of them right now. I think he's going to get counterpunched, probably get very counterpunched big time against Crawford if that fight ever happened. And then probably get stopped by Ortiz. But at 147, probably going to do damage simply because of his size alone. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. What a performance, though. I got to admit. I'm out, guys. Peace.